Hey boys and girls, it's day 2 of Where's Miss Lokey? And if you tuned in yesterday and made a guess, well, you were right. I was on the rock mound behind the pre-K and kindergarten building. It was a little hard getting up there, but anyway, good job. And I did not give out very many clues, so good job. So today I'm doing my reading that I know will look very familiar to you, and it's just awesome, the things that our boys and girls, some of them have created out here. So if you can guess where I am, let me know. I hope you join along. And we're going to begin with chapter 2 of How to Eat Fried Worms. Yesterday in chapter 1, there was a bet. Do you remember what that bet was? So somebody is going to be eating fried worms for $50. Let's begin reading chapter 2, which is called Digging. No, said Tom, that's not fair. He and Alan and Joe were wandering around behind the barns at Billy's house, arguing over where to dig the first worm. What do you mean it's not fair, said Joe. Nobody said anything about where the worms were supposed to come from. We can get them anywhere we want. Not from a manure pile, said Tom. That's not fair. Even if we didn't make a rule about something, you still have to be fair. What difference does it make where the worm comes from, said Alan. A worm's a worm. There's nothing wrong with manure, said Joe. It comes from cows, just like milk. Joe was sly, devious, and a little bit of a schemer. The manure pile had been his idea. You and Billy have got to be fair too, said Alan to Tom. Besides, we'll dig in the old part of the pile where it doesn't smell much anymore. Come on, said Tom, starting off across the field, dragging his shovel. If it was fair, you wouldn't be so anxious about it. Would you eat a worm from a manure pile? Joe and Alan ran to catch up. I wouldn't eat a worm, period, said Joe, so you can't go by that. Yeah, but if your mother told you to go out and pick some daisies for the supper table, you would pick the daisies off a manure pile? My mother wouldn't ask me. She'd ask my sister. Alan and Tom and Joe leaned on their shovels under a tree in the apple orchard, watching the worms they had dug squirming on a flat rock. Not him, said Tom, pointing to a night crawler. Why not? Look at him. Geez, exploded Alan, you expect us to pick one Billy can just gulp down like an ant or something tiny? Gulping's not eating, said Joe. The worm's got to be big enough so Billy has to cut it into bites and eat it with a fork off a plate. It's this one or nothing, said Alan, picking up the night crawler. Tom considered the matter. It would be more fun watching Billy trying to eat the night crawler. He grinned. Boy, it was huge, a regular python. Wait till Billy saw it. After all, thought Tom, Billy couldn't expect to win $50 by just gulping down a few measly little baby worms. All right, come on. He turned and started back towards the barn, dragging his shovel. And then chapter 3, we're going to read that also because they're 2 short chapters, and it's really nice out here. Training camp, chapter 3. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Billy was doing push-ups in the deserted horse barn. He wasn't worried about eating the first worm, but people were always daring him to do things, and he'd found it was better to look ahead, to try to figure things out, get ready himself. Last winter, Alan had dared him to sleep out all night in the igloo they built in Tom's backyard. Why not? Billy had thought to himself. What could happen? About midnight, huddled shivering under his blankets in the darkness, he'd begun to wonder if he should give up and go home. His feet felt like aching stones in his boots. Even his tongue inside his mouth was cold. But half an hour later, as he was stubbornly dancing out in the moonlight to warm himself, Tom's dog Martha had come along with 6 other dogs, all in a pack, and Billy had coaxed them into the igloo and blocked the door with an orange crate. And after the dogs had stopped wrestling and nipping and barking and sniffing around, they'd all gone to sleep in a heap with Billy in the middle, as warm as an onion in a stew. But he hadn't been able to think of anything special to do to prepare himself for eating a worm. So he was just limbering up in general, push-ups, knee bends, jumping jacks, red-faced, perspiring. Nearby, on an orange crate, he'd set out bottles of ketchup and Worcester sauce and mustard, a box of crackers, salt and pepper shakers, a lemon, a slice of cheese, his mother's tin cinnamon and sugar shaker, a box of Kleenex, some horseradish, and a plastic honey bear. Tom's head appeared around the door. "You ready?" Billy scrambled up, brushing his hair back. "Yeah." And off they went. Tom flung the door open. Alan marched in carrying a covered silver platter in both hands, Joe slouching along beside him with the napkin over one arm, nodding and smiling. Tom dragged another orange crate over beside the first. Alan set the silver platter on it. "A chair," cried Alan. "A chair." "Come on," said Billy, "cut the clowning." Tom found an old milking stool in one of the horse stalls. Joe dusted it off with his napkin, showing his teeth, and then ushered Billy onto it. "Ladies and gentlemen," shouted Alan, "I present my masterpiece." He swept the cover off the platter. "Ugh," cried Billy, recoiling. And there is a little picture on that one. So we'll stop there. It'll be chapter 4, and we'll read about the first worm. So join me. I hope you tune in today and guess where Miss Lokey is. Have a great day. Love you all.